Well, greetings and good evening from Mission Control Houston, and welcome to our live coverage of the Soyuz undocking from the International Space Station. Inside right now sits 3 crew members getting ready to leave from Expedition 46, and it's Scott Kelly and Mikhail Kornienko, the 2 one-year crew members getting ready to wrap up 340 days in space. And in between them is Sergey Volkov, a Russian cosmonaut who's going to be commanding the Soyuz craft during its descent this evening. Volkov's been on board for a little over 181 days. As mentioned, the trio inside their Soyuz, they closed the hatches just a couple of hours ago and are now working towards that undocking, where they currently sit attached to the Poisk module on the space-facing side of the Russian segment. That undocking just 15 minutes away. As we continue to count down, it's scheduled to come at 7:02 p.m. Central Time, 8:02 p.m. Eastern. And at that undocking, Expedition 46 will officially end on board the International Space Station, and Expedition 47 will begin. And as mentioned, the hatch closure did happen just a couple of hours ago, as Kelly, Volkov, and Kornienko said farewell to their Expedition 46 crewmates, Yuri Malenchenko, Tim Kopra, and Tim Peake, and made their way into the station. Why don't we take a quick look at that replay right now.
Начинайте, Сереж, начинайте.
All right, Sergey, you can proceed.
Ну все.
All right, guys, we are ready to close the transfer hatches. We wanted to say goodbye and thank you.
And again, there's 2 hatches to close. There's one on the Soyuz craft itself and one on the station side as well, inside the Poisk module. Sergey Volkov doing one final wipe down of the sealing ring around the Soyuz hatch before he closes it. And with that, Yuri Malenchenko sealing it up. The hatch is closed. The visiting vehicle officer reporting, seeing the telemetry. The hatch is closed at 3:43 p.m. Central Time, 4:43 p.m. Eastern, while the station was flying just about 252 statute miles to the north of Malaysia. And welcome back inside Mission Control Houston. That again was a replay from just a few hours ago when the hatches were closed between the Soyuz craft, now containing Scott Kelly, Mikhail Kornienko, and Sergey Volkov. And when the hatches were closed between it and the International Space Station, that time just again was 3:43 p.m. Central, 4:43 p.m. Eastern. And that since that hatch closure, a series of leak checks have been conducted to ensure a tight seal on the Soyuz's hatch before its undocking from the station can be given the go. Here inside the room, though, the Orbit 3 team did their poll. Flight Director Judd Freeling, who's leading the team, went around the room at right around 6:30 p.m. Central, getting the go for undocking. So all of the various systems are ready to support. Right next to Freeling was Reed Wiseman, he's going to serve as the Capcom today, knows a thing or two about Soyuz landings as he returned in the exact same fashion back in November of 2014. So he'll be conversing with the station crew. However, much of the communication you will hear tonight will be between the Soyuz and the Russian flight control team out in the Russian Mission Control Center in Koryov, just outside of Moscow. So right now we're 8 minutes and change away from the undocking command being sent to the Soyuz spacecraft. The command will actually be sent at 7:01 p.m. and then over the course of about 1 minute and 30 seconds, the hooks and latches holding the Soyuz in place will begin to retract. And after that 1 minute and 30 seconds is up, the physical separation of the vehicle, which is what is considered the undocking, will occur. That again scheduled to come at 7:02 p.m. Central Time. At the moment of undocking, Expedition 46 officially ends and Expedition 47 officially begins. The 3 crew members in the Soyuz craft will begin a slow departure from the station at a very snail-like 1/10 of a meter per second at first. Once they're about 50 feet away, engines on the Soyuz will execute 2 separation burns, the first of which occurring at that 50-foot point. That'll come at around 7:05 p.m. Central. Just a quick 8-second burn to open the gap between the station and the second burn, 30 seconds in nature. All of that, of course, setting up for the deorbit burn coming at 9:32 p.m. Central when the Soyuz slows down and begins its descent through the Earth's atmosphere. The next major point will be the separation of modules. The descent module holding the crew members inside in the middle will detach from the other 2 portions and allow it to enter through the Earth's atmosphere using the heat shield to survive the intense heat of re-entry, eventually setting that up for the parachute deploy. That coming when the capsule is just a little over 6 miles in altitude, and all of this setting up for a soft landing using the soft landing engines at 10:25 p.m. Central. So first the drogue chute, then the main parachute, which covers an area of 1,000 square meters, slows the Soyuz down to a descent rate of only 7.2 meters per second. Those engines fire when it's just about 6 feet off the ground. And then the landing comes in Kazakhstan. The capsule targeted to land just to the southeast of Dzhezkazgan in Kazakhstan. And at that point, the Russian search and recovery forces will be on the scene, standing by and ready to move in and begin extracting the crew from the capsule. They're in a variety of vehicles, Russian Mi-8 military helicopters, and a slew of all-terrain vehicles, as well as 2 airplanes, which will be responsible for establishing the initial communication with the capsule itself once it's under its parachute and past the re-entry, as well as coordinating with all of the teams down on the ground and in the air in those helicopters.
We are standing by for your report.
Через 10 секунд выдаем команду.
We're sending E2 command in 10 seconds. Copy. And concur. 3, 2, 1.
Ну давай.
Send the command.
3:56:00 выдали команду.
3:56:00 E2 command. Accelerometer repress. Flags are up. Boost. Affirmative. And then 113.
Так, переход.
And 12. Affirmative.
Формат 42.
All right, and we are moving to display 42.
Я на КСПП. Давай, я на сближение.
And I am on the approach format. And I'm on KSP format. This is Mikhail. Georgi, we can hardly hear you. Is it better now? It is. All right, activate the floodlight and send the R8 command. We're going to be undocking with narrow angle.
Выдаем R8.
Okay, copy. R8 command. That is correct.
So less than 4 minutes away from the undocking command being sent, a little over 5 minutes from that physical separation of the Soyuz craft and the International Space Station. Inside right now, Sergey Volkov sits at the center seat. He's going to be the commander of the Soyuz throughout all of the night's activities. To his left in the board engineer seat is Mikhail Kornienko, one of the two one-year crew members. And then that leaves in the right seat NASA's Scott Kelly, the other one-year crew member, getting ready to wrap up 340 days in space.
Should I leave it as is right now? On your go, we will set the camera into the narrow angle. So could you tell us...
And getting a view now from the cameras on board the International Space Station. There you can see the Soyuz TMA-18M, which is currently docked to the hoist module on the space-facing side of the vehicle.
Well, I don't have any notches. Well, that's on their side. So you don't have the notches on your side? Like, if you look at the VKU, it's on the in the right top corner. No, I don't see it. Have you seen the AGC mode getting activated? Yes, that's right. We've seen it. All right. We are in the indicator mode. GSO is not illuminated. There is no GSO flag, and maneuver flag is up. Floodlight is up. T2 is not illuminated, and we're sending the SSVP-7 command. All right, in the O2 bottle tanks, we have inaudible.
And coming up on 1 minute 30 seconds from the undocked command being sent to the vehicle. Again, once that happens, all of the hooks and latches holding it in place will begin to retract. And about a minute 30 seconds after that command has been sent, the physical separation will occur, with the vehicle slowly backing away at only about 1/10 of a meter per second. All of the final preparations being put in place, coming up on 1 minute to undock command.
Go ahead. SSVP command is in. The hooks are closed. G17 is illuminated. The beam is retracted. Mechanical capture. G17 on your go. We're ready. Yes. Let's go ahead for G17. 40100. We're issuing command G17. We are ready. Let's make sure we have full screen on the display. Are you copy?
And right here you're getting a view from a camera on the Soyuz itself. The numbers to pay attention to in the bottom left corner, that top one you see at a 004, that'll be the rate of departure of the Soyuz craft from the station. Right beneath it, the actual, or rather 004 is the distance, and at the bottom you'll see the rate of departure. And those numbers will obviously begin to change once the craft has undocked and begins to separate from the station.
96. Yes. About 1.5 minutes after issuing the command, mechanical capture indicator will not be illuminated. Yes, copy. Waiting. As soon as this one is illuminated, yes, okay. Conversation between the crew members. Mechanical taxi off, 10. We are getting the TV video image.
And undocking has occurred 7:02 p.m. Central Time, 8:02 p.m. Eastern Time, while the station was flying just over the eastern part of Mongolia. So the Soyuz TMA-18M spacecraft undocked from the International Space Station. Mikhail, Kornienko, Scott Kelly, Sergey, Volkov on their way home.
TC7 is illuminated. Copy. Have a good day.
So as you can see, that initial rate of departure, very slow, backing away at only 1/10 of a meter per second. It's going to continue at this pace until it's about 50 feet away from the International Space Station, at which point it'll execute the first of two separation burns. The first one will be an 8-second firing of the engines on board the Soyuz craft to begin opening that distance. The second will be a 30-second burn. Those firings should come within the next 2 to 3 minutes.
Ready is illuminated. Switching to page 97. Confirming. Observing the docking compartment. It is clear of foreign objects. Sergey, when are we switching to the narrow angle? I'll let you know. Issue 1S7 command. R7 command is being issued. Go ahead. R7 is issued. We are monitoring. We can see the station.
This a view again from the camera on board the Soyuz itself, looking straight back down at the station. Continuing to back away, we're standing by for that first separation burn.
At 0540, we're expecting the burn. Copy. In 10 seconds. That is correct. Looks correct. Depot is activating. The burn is on. In 8 seconds, depot work not eliminated, and we are maneuvering counterclockwise. Yes, this readiness is eliminated. GSO 1 is not, GSO is not, and depot work is on.
And the first separation burn occurring. You can see the thruster firings there on the Soyuz craft. Kelly, Kornienko, and Volkov inside. Moscow
is inaudible. Expecting the next inaudible. Copy.
And again, that first burn coming with the Soyuz about 50 feet away or so from its docking port on the International Space Station. It was an 8-second burn of the Soyuz engines. The second one coming up will be much longer and will send the craft well away from the International Space Station.
Depot activation is in. 7-3.
The visiting vehicle officer here in Houston confirming the second burn has begun.
The station is shifting to the right and up 45 degrees.
Есть выключение двигателя.
Trusted deactivation, depot activation is not illuminated. The completion of the cycle indication accelerometer is not on. Very good. Moving.
The visiting vehicle officer here in Houston getting confirmation everything went well with that second separation burn. Soyuz TMA-18M with the one-year crew on board now departing the area of the International Space Station. There you can see the orbiting laboratory in full view from the camera on board the Soyuz craft, which again undocked from the space-facing side, so getting a great look straight down at the station and the Earth below. Both spacecraft right now just over the very far eastern part of Russia, about to well north of the Sea of Japan.
S-18 is being issued. And V-18.
Да. Совпало с нажатием. Есть признак.
We have indicator for descent.
Идет перекладка.
Valve switching. Good.
Так, шар баллона.
In oxygen button 171, 171.
On space to ground 1. That PEV is full.
505 for propellant.
Copy, Yuri.
Copy.
Так,
Before
принято.
G4, do not issue that one yet.
Потратили.
Copy. We have used 9 kilograms.
The Soyuz spacecraft continuing to exit the vicinity of the International Space Station. The one-year crew members Scott Kelly, Mikhail, Kornienko on board, along with Russian cosmonaut Sergey Volkov. That undocking coming successfully at 7:02 p.m. Central Time, 8:02 p.m. Eastern Time.
Давай. Еще? О, все, нормально, да? Спасибо.
Thank you. Evidence? G4 command can be issued now. Yes, copy. Whatever TV is off, copy.
You can see the Soyuz continuing to reflect quite a bit of sunlight as they are in an orbital daytime right now. But with this successful undocking, successful separation burns, the 3 crew members now well on their way towards a landing in Kazakhstan just a few hours from now. It takes right around 3 hours and 24 minutes from undocking to landing to occur.
We can hear you very well.
And the first 10 minutes post-undocking have gone exactly according to plan so far, so everything going well with the departure tonight so far of the one-year crew members, Scott Kelly, Mikhail, Kornienko, wrapping up 340 days on board the International Space Station. The pair in their year-long mission will have completed right around 5,440 orbits of the Earth. In that distance, traveling over 143 million miles around our globe. Coincidentally, a journey to Mars would be right around 140 million miles, and as this is a mission dedicated towards improving humanity's knowledge of how our bodies change in space to continue to prepare us for that journey, the numbers lining up nicely. For Volkov, commanding the craft on board, he's going to be wrapping up 182 days in space, completing a slightly shorter trip, only 77 million miles, but a veteran space flyer nonetheless.
We don't have that.
The vehicle's going to continue to separate now, eventually getting to a distance of over 12 kilometers away from the International Space Station before the next major events in tonight's sequence can take place, and that'll be with the deorbit burn eventually sending the craft through the Earth's atmosphere for a soft touchdown in Kazakhstan for Volkov, Kelly, and Kornienko.
Okay.